Good morning, everyone. Mr. Chairman and the subcommittee, thank you for this opportunity. I appreciate the opportunity to meet with you this morning. A few weeks ago, I presented to the task force with my proposal for retirement reform. I also promised that I would follow with more details, and that's why I'm here today. Before I get to that, I want to emphasize that this is a challenge we face together as one community, and we must solve it by acting together as one community. Since before day one as mayor, I've said that reform of the police and fire pension fund must be a top priority for Jacksonville. The fund currently has a $1.7 billion unfunded liability that has only 39% of the money to meet all of its pension commitments to police and fire employees and retirees. Legally, and as a community, we must honor these commitments. We must do right by GSO officers and firefighters. They serve and protect our city. But we must reduce the skyrocketing cost of the city's obligation to the pension fund. These costs cast an ever-growing shadow over the city's credit rating, and they take an even larger bite of our city's budget. Our annual payment to the pension fund now consumes nearly 15% of the city's total general fund. If we don't act now, it will only get worse. It simply can't go on. This issue affects everyone in Jacksonville. Every dollar spent on the rising pension costs is a dollar taken away from essential services to protect public safety, to grow our economy, and improve the quality of life in Jacksonville. Ultimately, this is about the future well-being and vitality of our community. That's why I'm committed to finding a solution. The reforms I proposed back on January 21st would restore the financial health of the police and fire pension fund. And they would save Jacksonville taxpayers nearly $3 billion over the next 35 years, including $130 million in the next 5 years alone. My proposal matched the task force recommendations to strengthen accountability and oversight at the fund, which should lead to better investment performance. I also offered specific suggestions for a competitive but affordable pension plan that would stabilize and ultimately lower the cost to taxpayers. And finally, my proposal suggested a new source to accelerate payments and reduce the large unfunded liability for police and fire pension funds. This is a comprehensive solution. So today I want to speak about my suggestion that our local community-owned utility, JEA, partner with the city in this solution. To pay down the $1.7 billion unfunded liability, I propose that JEA considers investing an additional $40 million per year for the next 14 years, or until the police and fire pension fund reaches an 80% funded status, which could be sooner. Let me dispel two myths about my proposal. First, these proposed additional contributions would not be forever. They would last for either 14 years or until the pension fund is 80% funded, whichever is sooner, and then they would end. Second, despite the rusted judgment in some quarters, my proposal does not require a utility rate increase. In addition to JEA's already existing financial capacity, we will work with JEA to create savings and revenue opportunities to help offset the limited time additional contribution I proposed. I will detail some of those opportunities in a few minutes. We care about JEA's financial needs and stand ready to assist their bottom line. That's what the true partnership is all about. So we've asked JEA to tell us how the city might assist JEA in its financial needs. We've asked them to bring us other ideas on how the city can help JEA's bottom line. What I propose is not radical, it's reasonable and it's feasible. Moreover, this proposal is entirely consistent with the long-standing relationship between the city and JEA. JEA is a utility company, but instead of being owned by private investors, it is owned by the community, the taxpayers of Jacksonville. The JEA Board of Directors is appointed by the mayor with city council approval. Just as a private corporation's board is accountable to its shareholders, JEA board is accountable to the city. From its very founding nearly 50 years ago, JEA has been considered a central financial partner with the city of Jacksonville. JEA is deeply rooted in our community. Its business depends on the community. The city provides JEA with more customers and more business every time we attract a new company, every time we help existing company expand, every time we help create another job, every time our economy and the quality of life draws another family to move here and make Jacksonville their home. JEA thrives when our community thrives. JEA grows when our economy grows. When the city succeeds, JEA succeeds. If the city falters, then JEA falters too. That's why we've asked JEA to participate as a significant partner in a solution that will define the city's future. We're all in this together. When I use the word partner, I mean it. I believe we can have a partnership that works for both the city and JEA and that does not have a negative impact on ratepayers. We met with JEA on Monday and presented them with a formal response to their request for more information. We're following the process they requested. We're all ready to roll up our sleeves and get to work. The centerpiece of our proposal is that the city accepts JEA long-standing request that it be allowed to create its own pension plan, separate from the current participation in the city's general employee pension plan. The professional actuary for the general employee pension plan evaluated what the financial impact would be for JEA if it adopted a separate pension plan with benefit modification that apply only to future JEA employees, not current JEA employees, only future employees. This plan would include the same reforms for the future employees that the city negotiated last year with the unions representing 2,500 city general employees. Let me be clear. This is not JEA's pension proposal for employees. JEA has not made any pension benefit proposal. It will do so through the normal collective bargaining process after it determines what benefit package makes the most sense for its workforce. We utilize a conservative model drawing from our experience negotiating pension benefits with our employees who, like JEA, are in the general employee pension plan. Here's the bottom line. Under our model, JEA would save more than $500 million during the next 35 years. Think about that. They will save more than $500 million over the next 35 years. These savings alone could nearly cover the entire cost of the investment that we're proposing JEA to make to help resolve the police and fire pension fund. Think about that for a moment. That's very significant. If JEA adopts this separate pension plan, it would begin to enjoy some immediate savings, but the largest savings would come over the long term. So I understand there is a question on how JEA would make the $40 million annual payment starting this year. Well, we believe that JEA has the financial capacity and flexibility to contribute in the short term. Most important, JEA does not need to raise rates. JEA does not need to raise rates. JEA is a financially strong organization with over $1.8 billion in annual revenues. There are several areas we think JEA will continue to strengthen that will allow it to assist taxpayers as we address our community's biggest financial challenge. First, there could be new revenues from business growth. As in its January 29th presentation to the task force, JEA said growth will be flat or even negative due to lower demand for electricity. By contrast, the latest forecast from the U.S. Department of Energy projects that electricity consumption nationwide will grow by 1% a year. That's a national average. Jacksonville continues to be a growth area with residential, commercial, and industrial development. In fact, according to its annual report, JEA's customer base continues to grow. Electricity consumption in Jacksonville will grow faster than the national average. Even the simple 1% increase in JEA's business would translate into $18 million in increased annual revenue. 2% growth would bring in $36 million. Second, like any business, JEA will likely achieve savings through ongoing productivity, enhancement, and increased efficiency. A very modest 1% improvement in JEA's expenses translate into $3.7 million in annual savings. Third, JEA is benefiting financially from its emphasis on natural gas to generate electricity. The Department of Energy is projecting growth supplies of natural gas in the years ahead. The department estimates by 2040, natural gas will replace coal as the largest single energy source for generating electricity. In 2012, JEA produced a $35 million fuel surplus due to low natural gas prices. In 2013, its fuel surplus was nearly $37 million. A similar surplus is projected this year. Finally, JEA has paid down $330 million and $360 million of existing debt in each of the past 2 years. This debt reduction results in significant annual savings for JEA as it enjoys lower payments on principal and interest. We believe that a combination of these revenues and saving opportunities would enable JEA to meet the $40 million commitment while its pensions savings begin to grow. Let me say that I am determined to help JEA mitigate potential costs. In its presentation to the task force last month, JEA warned that it is financially constrained because of it faces in excess of over $1 billion in potential future regulatory burdens. It is important to recognize that they are talking about hypotheticals, potential costs, and possible regulations. The city can be an active partner in helping JEA with any regulatory burdens. I've spoken directly with members of our congressional delegation, including Senators Nelson, Rubio, Congresswoman Brown, and Congressman Crenshaw. They've all assured me that they will work with us to prevent or mitigate any such regulatory burdens. I've spoken with the Florida Department of Environmental Protection Secretary, Herschel Vineyard. My team and I have also spoken to the Environmental Protection Agency. The EPA has a process to provide regulatory relief if the burden is excessive. As a former member of the White House staff and the federal executive branch, I'm committed to working with the administration to prevent any excessive burden on JEA. As a leader in the U.S. Conference of Mayors, I'm committed to joining my colleagues from all around the country to ensure that public utilities are treated fairly. Just last month, the Standard & Poor's rating agency issued a report on the public power industry that was entitled, "Regulatory Outlook is Unlikely to Shake Sector Stability." Think about that. Regulatory outlook is unlikely to shake sector stability. The report concluded that it is premature to assess the credit impact until EPA announces the measures and utility can respond. It also observed that these regulations are likely to face litigation. The City of Jacksonville will stand shoulder to shoulder with JEA in making sure that our taxpayers' own utility is not excessively burdened. Finally, JEA says they have to satisfy the credit rating agencies. I understand that. The city has to satisfy the rating agencies too. We face their judgment today. As you remember, last month, Moody's put on us a 90-day review. If we don't address the pension challenge now, we will be downgraded. The city and JEA regularly work together as we deal with rating agencies. These agencies understand that the fate of JEA and the fate of the city are linked. The reality is this: Even though the city has made great progress on our financial management, we have reached the limit in terms of our capacity to address the pension crisis on our own. We can't afford to solve this problem with more service cuts. And the people of Jacksonville cannot afford higher taxes. That's why we're asking JEA to join with the city as a partner to invest in Jacksonville's future prosperity. We ask JEA to help us address the most serious financial challenge facing our community, which is JEA's community too. Ultimately, this is not about numbers. It's about people. It's about our seniors who live on fixed incomes and appreciate living in an affordable community with a good quality of life. It's about our veterans who served our country with distinction and decided to make Jacksonville their home and live in a community that's military friendly. It's about our small business and entrepreneurs who see economic opportunity right here in Jacksonville, in our own community. It's about our teachers who are dedicated to educating the children of our community, who believe in opportunity for all to make sure that we have the best education system, second to none. It's about our police and fire first responders who serve and protect our community every day on behalf of the citizens. The police and firefighters, first responders believe in our community, love our community. We made a commitment to them and we should keep it. Above all, it's all about the young people, the next generation. There's a serious question we have to answer as a city. What kind of community will they inherit from us? We owe it to the people of Jacksonville to look at every possible option. We owe it to the public to look beyond a tax increase, to look beyond a utility rate increase, look beyond cutting essential services even more than we already have. We owe it to Jacksonville to rise above politics as usual and business as usual and get the job done. It's about leadership. It's about commitment. It's about vision. It's about opportunity with shared vision and responsibility, a belief that we all can work together and do what's right for Jacksonville as one community. And that's what we've asked JEA. In Jacksonville, it's really interesting. We pride ourselves on fresh thinking and openness to new ideas. We've achieved one of the most significant city-county consolidation in the country, and we've proven its success for efficient, cost-effective public service. We need to approach this challenge with the same innovative can-do spirit. We're all in this together, and we must work together so we can have the best future for our city. I'm committed to working openly and constructively with the task force, with JEA, the Police and Fire Pension Fund, the City Council, with everyone in our community. And I know this task force is committed to this effort. I want to thank you for your unwavering commitment and conviction of your service and dedication as we find a solution to this serious challenge. There's no question in my mind as mayor of this city, with all the talented people we have in the private sector, the public sector, the not-for-profit community, the interfaith community, with all of the stakeholders we have in this city, there's no question in my mind that we can't get this done. I believe this is the right course of action. Remember, this is a utility company owned by the taxpayers of Jacksonville. We believe in the public-private partnership. I believe in a shared vision for all. I believe in accountability and transparency. I believe in opportunity for all. I believe as mayor of this city, I'm taking on the tough issue to solve the problems while we all work together. I believe that this is a viable plan that would take Jacksonville to the next level, improve the quality of life, making sure that we not only think about ourselves, but think about the next generation. Think about what this city would be like. What do we believe in, and how do we get there? Now's the time to make it happen. Mr. Chairman and the subcommittee, I thank you for this opportunity to present. I really appreciate it. This is tough work, it's hard, but I believe we can get there by working together. I believe JEA will work with us. We're all in this together. Thank you for this opportunity.